Act 1, Scene 2 of Hamlet. The setting changed from the warring dark night under the sky into the next day king's ceremony inside the castle. The king opens his speech remembering his dead brother, the late King Hamlet. Then he deals with the state business, informing his people about his recent marriage with the last king widow, his sister-in-law. The king, in his words, uses a number of figures of speech: defeated and joy, dirge and marriage, mirth and funeral. He does this to fit a king utterance and making his speech long, formal, and influential. On the other hand, marrying his sister-in-law so soon in such bad condition looked as an evil. So, maybe Claudius uses this symbolic language to cover up his guilt and make that look less evil than it really is. Next, the king tells the audience about the message he sends to the old king of Norway, reporting young Fortinbras' message of invention. And it is so clear that he takes the advantage of disorganized Denmark and rashly demands to surrender the lands that were lost by his fathers, the late king of Norway. Ending his speech, the king thanks his courtiers for their support in such conditions. Laertes, Polonius' son, asked the king for permission to leave the country to continue his study abroad, and he get the agreement. Then after, Claudius and Gertrude go to see Hamlet, who is still wearing his black clothes, and that indicate his deep grief. Claudius tells Hamlet his wise words and wanted him to consider him as his father, then ends that by asking Hamlet not to join his school in Wittenberg. Gertrude supports her husband's demand, and she herself asks Hamlet. Hamlet respectfully agrees to stay. After Hamlet left alone, he turns to his thought. Hamlet's soliloquy devotes that Hamlet's grief is not just because of his father's death, but the inappropriate marriage between his mother and uncle too. Hamlet wonders if his mother's decision to marry so quickly is right or not. He turns into despair and feels to be disloyal. Hamlet wishing to suicide, when he said if that wasn't against the God's law, he would suicide, and this clarified the appearance of the religion in the first soliloquy of Hamlet. Horatio, Marcellus, and Bernardo arrive suddenly, and all seem frightened, carrying a strange news for Hamlet, telling him about the ghost. Hamlet is shocked, and decides to stay watching with them, telling them not to inform anyone, and they promise. Claudius in his speech equals sorrow and happiness, but the superficial ceremony means nothing but his dishonesty. On the other hand, his sympathy with Hamlet maybe show he is a bit kind, and maybe not. This scene clarifies how contradictory he is.